bro, man. You
Broke him,
excited?
son.
You excited to see Juliet Lewis? You're most excited to see Juliet Lewis? Oh, man, she canceled her appearance.
Oh man.
Boo! Powering down. Powering
Oh,
down.
damn, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ask staff. I'm gonna go ask staff. You're not excited to see her, bro? Oh my god. So do you want to explain why we were mentioning Juliet Lewis?
Well, that fan didn't do his homework and asked us a question on if we wanted to talk about why we were excited about coming to Monsterpalooza, and then he mentioned signings and things like that. And one of the first people we asked about was Juliet Lewis. But unfortunately, like I said, he didn't do his homework, so he didn't know that she canceled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back in February. And the moment I said, oh, she canceled.
Deflated.
He's like, what? And the moment I noticed him deflate, then I realized, oh, he had the glasses on. He was dressed as Woody Harrelson from Natural Born Killers. I was like, oh, shit. And then he was like, like, cancel her hours? Like, cancel what? And I was like, oh, I said, due to work. She couldn't make it this year. And the guy goes, completely put his camera away, put it down. He goes, I gotta go talk to staff. And he walked away from us. Ooh, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh man, any little bit of like shittiness I felt this weekend, it's all gone now. That was hilarious, man. Yo. Also, like, if you're a big fan, you don't know that she's on Broadway right now in New York? Like... Hair is looking crazy. Voice is sounding terrible. Lots of talking. Anyway, so... gonna talk about Monsterpalooza, and I'll go into other fun things I did in California after talking about Monsterpalooza. So, I'm gonna say this year was different, to be very kind. This year was very different. Main thing was Premier Products didn't have a stage. They didn't have a stage, they didn't even have a booth, like, to sell pallets and all their other stuff. Like, there was one, like, kind of mini, I don't even think you call it a booth, like, table thing, and they had, like, a demo, but it was, like, you know what I mean, they didn't even have, like, it on a riser, so you didn't realize, like, a demo was happening, because then people were around, you know, like, they were selling, like, the fake teeth, like, the effects teeth, which was great, but, like, that's it. So there weren't, like, the big demos of the big names of so-and-so, you know, there wasn't that, so then... you know, there wasn't that kind of schmooze I could have done, you know, besides that. There were people in the industry. But anyway, so that was definitely a major difference this year, which kind of made it feel a little lackluster. Like, granted, a lot of, like, the makeup schools and other makeup brands were able to, like, shine because they're like, good, now that stage is gone, we, in our little mini, you know, spot, you know, we'll get more eyes on us, which, yes, I agree, that great for them. But other than that, it just felt like it just didn't feel the same, you know. Like, again, I had a great time, you know. And it's just like, it just felt different, felt like something was missing. There was also, like, a YouTuber who had, like, a booth there. I kind of heard of him. I think his name's, like, Meat Canyon or something. Like, I heard of him. I've seen some of his work. It's, like, weird art animation. But I don't think he was selling any of that. Like, I saw people with, like, tote bags, you know, with, like, his thing on there. And he was there, like, meeting fans. But, like... I don't know what he was selling. Again, I'm like, it's whatever. It was funny, like after day one, Paul and I went to go eat nearby, and then he was there, like, at the table. I'm just like, fuck is, But that was also annoying because it's like, okay, you got a YouTuber there, and it wasn't until, like, I think halfway through Saturday or something, did, like, volunteers, like, work on his line. I think he had someone working for him that was handling the line, like, for him, but I don't know, man, like, as someone who's done, like, who's had tables or booths or whatever near, like, a internet famous person, it sucks because everyone is lining up in front of your table, and so then other people aren't really coming to, like, aren't looking at your stuff because you're being skipped over because there's a line in front of it. Granted, I did see them put, like, a mark in front of the thing, so, like, you can't stand in front of said artist's table. You have to, like, here cut, there's a table. But it still felt like if you're browsing or walking by, you're still not going to go closer to it because, again, there's a line, so you're not understanding, like, wait, is this line for the, you know what I mean? Like, if you're like a casual or like a first-time con goer, you're just gonna avoid that. And I felt bad for the artists that, like, this dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, granted, yeah, his booth was, like, on an end cap kind of thing, so of course more people are gonna see him because he's not in an aisle, but I just, like, again, as someone who's been in that position, like, right around the corner from the guy, like, I felt bad because, like, again, that's happened to me. I've lost sales. I was the waiting room, you know what I mean? And it's like, as aggravated as you can be, you're just like, what are you gonna do, And I, like, it's, unless you, like, Karen really, like, you Karen it really well to the organizer or something, sometimes they don't even give a fuck. Like, sometimes they don't even, like, give you money back, or at least something of, like, a, not even, like, a sorry, because they're just like, well, this influencer person brought in people and money me, So that's, like, the thing that, like, got me aggravated. Also, like, at the same time, I've been trying to get a spot as a vendor at Monsterpalooza, and, like, funny enough, like, I went through, like, old emails pre-COVID, and I was like, hey, is there, like, a way to sign up? They're like, oh, we got a really long waiting list, and once we go through the waiting list, and we'll open it up. That was, like, in 2018. But, oh, a YouTuber wants to have a spot. Come the fuck right on in, And again, I don't know the guy, and I don't like or hate him. I heard of him, but it's, like, stuff like that, like, it kind of hurts, like, really good, like, decent sized conventions like this, because this was, like, the reason why I fucking fly across the country once a year to go to this conventions, because I get to meet people, like, in the biz, in the industry, free and easy, you know what I mean? And it's like, I get to show my work. Paul's wearing the thing, or I'm wearing the thing. But this year, like, a lot of the big names weren't really there. But, like, some of their booths were there, but they weren't there, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, it's our stuff, buy my stuff, I'm not here, I got reps, which, again, I get it, like, we all got busy schedules, but it was just like, it's like, come on, man, don't turn Monsterpalooza into how every other fucking convention is, where it just all becomes a fucking influencer gathering, Like, definitely, the past Comic-Con that passed, like, became, like, just, it was like, oh, cool, fuck the cosplay thing, that's gonna be the influencer thing. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt different. And I think it was like a year or so ago, they opened up there's, like, the main section of the convention, and then, like, you kind of, like, go back outside and go into another building, and that used to just be, like, panels, theater, whatever, and, like, photo ops. I think a year or so ago, they opened it up to have a little bit more vendors. Cool, whatever. And I used to not go in there because I'm not going to a panel or I'm not doing a photo op. But, as a good convention goer, again, as someone who tends to be put into, like, an offshoot room in a corner, face the wall type of shit, I've been that bitch all the time, I'll go in, I'll see whatever. And, like, this year, not so much last year, but this year, so much of the stuff in that room just felt like every fucking local horror convention I go to, and why I stopped going to it, It's like, okay, it's fan artorama shit, and it's like, retail shit. I mean, there was some of that in the main room, and I was talking to fellow artists who I see every year, I'm like, hey, what's up? You getting work? Da da da. Even they're like, no, the the vibe of the place is different. Or like, obviously the industry's different because AI, is taking over and all that stuff. Like, fuck, Um, but like in that room, I was just like, what the fuck? And then there's one part where like someone's selling rings. Okay, that's fine. And then you go like an aisle over, I'm like, that's the same fucking company. That's like Anime Con shit. Where you're like, oh, someone's got the fan art where it's like the character and then like the burn and dodge background of the speed lines. Oh no, like next artist alley thing, look, it's the same you know what I mean? You're like, how the fuck do you book like it's like, please, come on, man, Monsterpalooza, like don't turn it in, like don't make this fucking, like, again, like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, don't turn this into just, like, every other con that's a cash grab. Like, I still go to New York Comic Con to, like, die from exposure, literally. I go there, I wear an elaborate costume, I'm ignored because every photographer wants to take a picture of the 20-year-old who's, like, practically naked. It's like the South Park thing where, like, I think, what was it, Kenny was in the mech suit, but then so-and-so won because they just wore a Chewbacca mask. Like, that's my life. Anyway, I'm joking, but also, like, it's kind of, it's a little... Well, because PPI wasn't there, I didn't really buy anything there. I bought, like, a replacement nozzle thing for my airbrush because, funny enough, I bought one last year, and then while I was like taking it apart to clean it out, I don't know what hell happened to the nozzle head, and I was like, because it's small and my studio space is like a carpet, we're not looking for it. I was like, fuck it, here, $30, let me just buy another one, so I didn't really buy much because I kind of spent a lot on Amoeba, and I'm gonna show you that in a second. But like I said, I don't know how I feel. I don't know if I want to go back. This is my tentative. I don't know, because it's like, on one hand, just how it was this year, it's like, I don't know, man. I think it's a waste of money to fly across country just to be fucking disappointed the whole fucking time. And on the other hand, it's like the stubbornness in me is like, but you just been doing this practically every year since 2015. You've been going to this con like every year, and So we'll see. We'll see if, like, also they had like so many musicians this year. They had Corey Taylor, Alice Cooper, what was his name? The bassist from Black Sabbath, drummer of Black Sabbath. Because what else are they doing now? Because Ozzy's dead and Sharon Osbourne's like keeps milking his IP. They're just like, fuck my drag. Dio's been dead forever, so we can't just bring the band back together, kind of shit. Who the fuck else did they have? I think, didn't they have like another musician or something? But anyway, yeah, so they, like, they just brought in like a lot. Like, I'm like, oh fuck. I was like, again, that's like horror con shit where they're like, again, I know Monsterpalooza is technically kind of like a horror con, all that, but it's like, don't turn into like every generic fucking horror convention. You know what I mean? Where everyone's like, Freddy, Michael, Jason. It's like, there's more than that. I also heard from passerby attendees who were just like, oh man, there used to be guys here that would, like sell masks they made in their garage and stuff. And it's like, see? You see how it's different? Is it? I'm not the only one who knows it's different this year. Fuck. But I guess, So I'm rubbing my eyebrows off because it's so hot. So I tried to do makeup on Paul. Let me move on to that. I tried to do makeup on Paul. It didn't go well. The application, it just wasn't sticking to his face. Maybe because he runs hot and the adhesive was just kind of melting off of him. So adhering the prosthetic to him wasn't, it didn't go well. Plus, it was silicone, and I'm still, like, trying to get better at silicone. I'm great at foam latex. Silicone, it's tough. You gotta be really good at it. Anyway, so adhering it wasn't the best. The edges were horrific. I don't know what the fuck happened. They were just like, they were peeling and like wrinkling and all that stuff. That like, there was like a harsh one right here, even though like it should have blended beautifully. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the fuck happened. I did wrong. So the entire time I'm applying, mind you, I recorded me doing it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not taking pictures. I'm not publishing this. This is not going in my portfolio. We'll do it, I'll try again next year or something, because it's just not going well. Anyway, but, I applied it, da-da-da. The best part, as always, I color matched it really well to him, but who cares how well you color match it when it's just like, look at this wrinkle, look at this bump, look at the, I mean, I think there was the thing on the nose did really well, because you can't tell that his whole nose was actually the whole prosthetic and not just the middle part. That's the only part I'm, like, very proud of, was, like, right here. Because then everything else is like, can you see where it's a prosthetic? Oh, my God. Like, very embarrassing as someone who knows better and can do better. But anyway. And then, anyway, Sunday, I did the They Live, the mask, I made it all, of course. I sprayed, like, little arm things to be the color, that stuff. I made the little, this is your God, fake money. It was great. And, people here and there were like, oh, great mask, because when I first did it years ago, it was a full face prosthetic, and people kept telling me great mask, and I was losing my shit, because I'm like, this shit's good on my face. So this time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a mask. Also, it'll be easier, because I just put it on and I can leave. I literally woke up, and then, not even in 30 minutes, put that shit on, and we were out the door. So I got to sleep in more. Anyway, so when people did compliment on the mask, I'd be like, thanks, I made it myself, and that's when the change of like, oh, great mask, and it was like, what? And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So, here's my card, So at least some costume went well. Oh, I forgot to mention. Also on Friday, I ran into Adam Jones of Tool. What? I was not expecting that. We're just like walking around, and I just saw him come around the corner, and I was like, like that. And I was like, and I just like grabbed Paul, and I said, hold on. I'm gonna be stupid for a second. He's like, okay. And I just like walked up to him, and I was like, wait. And you know how like sometimes you're like, I know this face my entire life because I've been a fan of Tool literally my entire life. You can't tell, but there's two posters right against like the headboard of them. And I'm just like, and then I was like, okay, well, I should just ask. I just went up like, hey, hi, are you Adam? He's like, yeah. And I was like, can I get a picture? He's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, he's like, hold on, let me put on my sunglasses, all that stuff. I get it. He probably thinks he looks like shit. He looks fine. He looks the same, just older, So I was just like, oh my God, and that's why I'm in the picture looking like a fucking dork, because I'm like, this is my favorite guitarist of my favorite band. Just losing my shit. Very nice, and it's funny, because he was there, like, all 3 days, like, then, like, Saturday came, and I was like, Paul was like, oh, there goes your boy. I'm like, oh, shit. And then Sunday, while I'm in the mask, I was like, oh, I wonder if you see me in the mask. Oh, and there he goes. There he goes. There he goes. That kind of stuff. So I guess I'll move on to, just being in LA. So, on Friday before the con, we went to the Getty, and I'll do a separate video about, like, what we saw at the Getty and how great and all that stuff was. As always, I always stop by a dispensary. It's funny because it's like the same, I guess, brand name dispensary or whatever is available here, but these have more choices out in LA because it's LA. But yeah, I got like just another CBD cartridge. This one I literally just finished. It's the social whatever gummy. It's more CBD than THC. And then I got another gummy that is, again, it's CBG and then THC, because as someone with chronic pain, it's just, the fun is just the beginning. Anyway, so then, of course, I went ham at Amoeba this year. Like, Paul and I were talking about it earlier today, and he's like, yeah, girl, you showed me your basket, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess it's like, something told me, like, I don't think this year's gonna be so great, but might as well enjoy yourself, at Amoeba. So, I guess I'll go with music, because I went there more for music than for movies, but, went the other way. So, all the things on my list, I was only able to find one, which I was able to find the latest Lorna Shore album. Now, if people who follow me for a while know that the last time I bought one of their albums, at Amoeba, it got pulled out of my bag during TSA, and then they then fed it through the machine again. And I thought maybe because Pain Remains, had a picture of the guy with a knife to his neck, but even then you take it out, you're like, oh, okay, it's a record. But anyway, so I have, I feel the ever black festering within me. Sounds like something I wrote when I was like in like 7th grade. I had a journal with black paper, and I used like a silver gel pen to write in it. Oh God, Jesus, my feelings. I hate everyone. I hate you. I hate me. Like that type of shit. But I love Lorna Shore, so I missed out on getting this like pre-sale whatever stuff off their website because I had little to no money at the time. So by the time I was like, oh, I think I could buy the album, sold out. They had a fuck ton of movies. So let's go in alphabetical order with directors, because the great thing with Amoeba is that they have it off, like whatever, genre movies, da-da-da, right? They also have Criterion, whatever. But they also section some of it off via directors. And that's how you get my fucking ass buying way too much. So first, we got Ryan Coogler, we got Sinners, yeah, of course. 2 Michael B. Jordans, But do you want 1 Michael B. Jordan? Do you want 2 Michael B. Jordans? You're like, that's so many Michael B. Jordans. Anyway, next, we got my fave, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I love this movie. I love that he didn't need to set it during, Mussolini like reign, but he was like, no. Guillermo del Toro was always like, hey, I think, we should fuck monsters and also fuck fascism. Like, it's like, whatever you say, big man. And then we got David Lynch. Now, I finally have these on physical copies, so I guess we'll go in order of when the movies came out. So I finally have a physical copy of Eraserhead. Before Criterion releases, for the longest time, you could not, like, get this, and if you could, it would be on like Amazon, and it was just a DVD, and someone was listing it at like $250 just for a DVD, and the only way to watch this was like someone's bootleg copy on YouTube, and it was just like the full screen was like a pool, just like a pool, and then the movie would be like the lower quarter of it, it's like the only way to watch it back in the day. Anyway, but, this also comes with a bunch of extra stuff. But as someone who has replicated the Eraserhead baby, or as a lot of people keep saying, where did you get it? Of course I have to have the physical copy of this, My favorite's when people are like, oh, God, that movie. It's like, no. Wow, you like David Lynch? Really? Anyway, next is, God, which one came first? I forgot. Which one came up first? Oh yeah, duh. So then I have Lost Highway. Love it. I tell people, like, if they want to get into David Lynch, like, if they don't want to do Twin Peaks, like, they don't want to do a series, I tell them, like, start with this one, because it's, like, the least confusing, weird, it's the easier to digest one, you know what I mean? I was friends with someone who had put this on, and she was just texting me up a storm telling me, like, why are we focusing on the saxophone player? Why is the scene running long? And I was like, shh, let it ride, girl, let it ride. I don't know. That bitch wanted to start her own, like, series of reviews just to shit on Lynch, and I'm like, have at that, alright? Good luck people sending you pictures of your house, like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm joking. And then, of course, Mulholland Drive, which I feel like this is also, like, the second one that's like the easy digestible one. It's not. Anyway, but Mulholland Drive, I fucking love Mulholland Drive. I think was it last year? No, we didn't rent a car last year. The last time we rented a car, we went to Mulholland Drive because I wanted to actually explore it rather than like just drive through and have to like leave. And then I think I might have mentioned this. Oh, like we got out of the car and I stood on top of the hill and I scared this couple. I scared the woman. The guy was laughing. Because my buddy was like, oh man, it's really nice, blah, blah. And I'm like, this looks like a great place to kill your wife. Because I can't be fucking normal. Anyway, Mulholland Drive. So yeah, this is my like amoeba. What's in your bag? That's what that's my thing. This is also my Criterion closet like pull. I would just pull like every David Lynch thing. Oh, I would totally pull the fucking Godzilla collection. I wanted to buy it, but I didn't because that's a lot of money. Also, my professor did the Godzilla, cover thing. So that was really cool. I was like, I know that art. I know that lady. But anyway, this is. Oh man, let's put Michael B. Jordan there. Yeah, my Criterion. Anyway, so yeah, that was our. That was Monsterpalooza. I really hope it doesn't kind of go the way of, again, every con. Hey, if I lived closer, I would totally go to the small Son of Monsterpalooza in Burbank. That's when I first started going to Monsterpalooza, when both shows were happening in Burbank and all that stuff. Stayed at the hotel that it's attached to, all that shit. It was great. It was cute. It was small, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, again, you're flying across country and you're going to this super small con, it's like, yeah. Then they made it big, and I was like, this is great, this is great. I don't know. And then this year was kind of like, but anyway, I'm done. Bye.